for it for sure.
Have you been
Hi,
looking
Hey
Karen.
everyone.
Hey, good for you, Karen.
Hey everyone. We are already live on YouTube. Let's see what's happening right here. Very good. And you know, I'm really excited to be here with all of you. First, I'll say we've got Joe here with us. Great to see you, Joe. And Anne's here. Scott, the two Scotts are here. Yay. Made it back again. That's great. Catherine's here. Camera on. Hey, Catherine. And Alex here. Marcia, Jay, Evelyn. We got Sibu. Hey, Sibu, early in the morning for you. Joseph and Gloria, Millicent, Patricia, Sabina's here. Rima, Sarah, Stacy, Thomas, Alana. Welcome, Alana. Great to see you here on our daily success calls. And of course, many more students joining as we begin. And so for the new students online today, let's just say, you know, these are our daily success calls, and these calls are all about setting, you know, creating the right mindset to be the business owner that we want to be. These are not the how-to calls, although we have a fabulous community that meets up after. And if you were here prior and you heard all of the help going on, also meeting up prior to the call and just offering guidance, assistance, and from the kindness of their heart, really, which is really, really awesome. So if you have questions, you can stay on after we're done with this, and I'll explain at the end of the call how it goes and get some help with your business. All right, so welcome everyone. Great to be here with you every you know, consecutively, let's say it that way, in the middle of the week. I really enjoy it. And we're approaching the new year, and so I kind of promised that this week would really all be about getting ready for this new chapter, for the new year. And so for today, you know, we really only have today and tomorrow, so we won't be meeting up on the 31st. And then the New Year's Day is the 1st, it's Saturday, so we won't be meeting up. So it really is today and tomorrow where we get to set our scene for this New Year's. And in previous calls, I mentioned that I really strongly believe that working with the energies that are around us, what's happening right now in our everyday, it's almost like we get this extra boost, this, you know, rocket booster energy forward, and we can utilize that for our own potential, for our own growth. So it is a special time, and we need to acknowledge that. Yes, definitely we get to rise every morning and we have a new day and a new week and a new month, but a new year that changes the digit to the 2022 versus 2021. And we get to write that out every check and every, you know, journaling entry, or, you know, however you write out things on your papers. You know, it's very exciting. And so when we enter into a new year, when we enter this 2022, there are a couple things that I think traditionally, you know, we sit and do. And one of those things is reflect. So we reflect back on the old year, so 2021. And I want to, that's where I want to focus our call today, is on the reflection. And tomorrow we'll talk about the moving forward aspect of it. And so when we reflect back, also, it's very interesting, because reflecting back is also a practice that we can do every day. Before we go to sleep, you know, we can reflect back on the day that was. There are many ways to do that. You can do that in your mind, you know, just imagining the day, walking through it, seeing how everything went. You can do it journaling. You can do, you know, many people on the call said they have something like a success journal. You'll write down all the things, all the great things that you've done that day. That's also a great way. Basically, we're reflecting. Now, oftentimes when we reflect on things that we have done, we can get very judgmental, and there can be a lot of emotion involved in that reflection. Well, oh, you know, I didn't do that, or I didn't achieve that. And I remember Scott was talking about that yesterday, a little bit of, oh, I didn't reach this milestone or that milestone. But, you know, in this instance, and especially for now, and I think that moving forward, if you choose to adapt this style of just being an observer, of becoming this neutral point, this neutral space. And I think that this is a tool that meditation, when you do meditation a lot, really gives you this aspect of becoming an observer. One of our gifts as being humans, right, is that we get to experience emotions in a very heightened way, and everything. It's really, you know, we can get very excited, or on the other end of that, really depressed or, sad. The emotions can range really, really big and wide. And that is something that is so unique to the human experience. So it's not something that we want to dissolve or to think that it is a wrong thing. However, the more that we can become, and there is a practice all around this, the stoicism, right? You become more stoic, where you can just become this observer, where you can just observe your life in a way where you're not applying judgment to it, where you're not being that teacher that says, oh, why didn't you do your homework? Or, a mother that says, well, couldn't you just clean your room or the whole house? Or, you know what I mean? Those kinds of tones where it's all, kind of, we have those voices in our minds that, we're either set on, they were established early on, or we chose them. And, every time that we evaluate something that we've done, we can use one of these voices, And so in this instance, when we're evaluating, when we're looking back at 2021, can we look in a mind's eye that is neutral, that is not attached to emotion, that is not in the space of woe is me, or even in the space of, yeah, I did it, I made it, where it's just really observing. All right, so 2021, I joined the low hanging system, and I have learned these new skills, and I have, that kind of way where you're just observing your process and the things that have happened. And at the end of this process of observation, we come into this space where we get to choose. There is a choosing point of what moves with us to 2022 and what we're going to leave behind. And so we will also discuss today, what we're taking, what we're leaving behind, and what we're going to take from 2021 moving into 2022. And tomorrow we'll really focus on the manifestation of the new things, this new year and what we're trying to create. But today, let it be about this closing point, this, I guess it's like a farewell, a goodbye in a sense. We're doing this. And when you think about these parties, the New Year's parties and the countdowns, we gather to, yes, welcome in something new, but also to say a farewell to what was, and to understand that, once it's behind us, once it's in the past, the only way we relive these things is through our imagination, a memory. They don't exist in any particular place or time, because they're in the past, they're in our memory. And we get to shape those memories, and we get to choose which ones we play on repeat for ourselves. That's the glory of really being a human. We get to, interestingly enough, and I know, Scott, you had said, family relationships, this is Scott Barker, had said, family relationships are often very, packed with emotions and with challenges. I'm choosing my words carefully. I see that you've noticed. And so, but isn't it interesting how family members in particular can choose their memories? They can reshape the whole memory of a situation. This is not just family members, right? I was just vibing off of what Scott had said yesterday, but really, we can reshape our memories, so we can use that tool for the better. It doesn't always have to be, in this downward spiral action, but really for the better, where we take the things that happened, that whatever passed in 2021, we look at it, we observe it in this neutral space. And when we choose our moving forward, this action, like what are you packing in your backpack to go on your hike? What are you taking with you? What do you want to fill inside of this backpack that was valuable from 2021 that you've learned? Something that gave you wisdom, something that infused your soul, maybe even this business, learning how to create these designs. I know Scott Kelly shared yesterday how just sharing his knowledge forward empowered him so much that it fills him up. So this might be something that you're taking with you into 2022, this new space of teaching, of helping, of, sharing wisdom, sharing knowledge with your fellow LHSs. And then again, tomorrow we'll focus more of what we are creating in there, but, and you can also speak a couple of words about what you're leaving behind, what you no longer want to fit in your backpack, what no longer serves you, and how even on your journey that you gain the wisdom to see the difference to observe and to know which ones you want to take and which ones you don't want to take. What are you willing to cast aside? I mean, oftentimes throughout a lifetime, we can get really attached to certain ways of being and certain emotions and certain energetic charges, you know, be they good or bad. We can really get used to that and accustomed to it, and they can feel like they're a part of us. But the truth is that we get to choose. And we get to choose, I'll say it again, but you know, we get to choose at any time. It's not just now. But because it is a new year and the forces are strong, and it is now that everyone around the world is gathering for this event. You know, it's like a climax, like a, you know, an apex of sorts, a peak, you know, you're climbing up onto the top of the mountain and there it is. And you're arriving there with the whole world, everyone that can, you know, that uses the sun calendar. And we get to change this number together. So there is that heightening aspect of it. So with no further ado, let's hear from you. What you, you know, the great, you know, retrospect, looking at 2021, what are you stacking in your backpack? What are you filling in? What are you leaving behind? And how, you know, a little bit about your journey, if you'd like to share with the community. I know I see Scott writing, so I know that he has things to share. But let's see if anybody else wants to chime in first. Oh, we got Deborah online with us. Good to see you, Deborah. Maggie came online. Hey, Maggie, good to see you. Julie. And Marcia came online, or Jewel, sorry. Anyone want to share? You're looking back. Yeah.
It's a small group today, I guess.
It is. It is a smaller group, to be expected.
And so, I mean, I'm not afraid about talking about anything, but I mean, what you're getting into now to be even a little bit more personal. And, you know, and that's something I do quite well, is setting aside. I really don't. I mean, those that are really close to me know everything that I'm going through, you know, and but most people here don't. But I don't want everybody to know my dilemmas, my situations. Really, what really has made me where I'm at today from where I was last year. But when you talk about, when I'm reflecting back, what I'm doing right now is just reflecting back on all those months. I went back to where I was last year at this time, because, you know, I'm like, is this year better than last year? Yes, I'm in a better place than I was last year. That's for sure. And I'm thinking that's kind of how I'm going to treat next year, is looking at that, because when I even joined LHS, I made a 2-year commitment. So I still have many more months to go. I've only got, you know, like 6 months underneath my belt at the best right now, you know, and I'm doing great. The things that I've accomplished have been, in my opinion, I mean, I'm sorry, guys, I'm proud of myself, you know, and I think that's a good thing to have.
I'm sorry. Yes.
You know, and I know that I don't want to take any away from anybody else ever, you know, and I don't ever like to make anybody feel less, but I always want to make them feel more. And so I guess that's kind of where I am. Like you're saying, my thinking is a little bit more forward into the year. I'm not really worried about my past, because everything I've done so far has been for my future. So I guess stepping forward and putting that crystal ball in front of me and visioning where I want to be is what I'm kind of doing right now. And I hope everybody else can start visioning where they want to be too, and putting that in their head, and you know, constantly putting that vision in your head of where you want to be and where you're walking to, and knowing that, and with confidence and sincerity in your heart, with all the gratitude, and you'll have all these things for sure. Granted, it does take work. It does take time. But with that, those two things which we can offer are most of, man, it had the delivery on that can be unbelievable, in my opinion. But I'm just a single man with a single mind that likes to explore, and it likes to explore with me too. And I let that happen daily. So we talked about that song yesterday. Man, I'll tell you, that just kept harmonizing with me all day long. Because it's like, man, my song just keeps perpetually moving forward all the time with creativity and new ideas. And they come at me left and right, and I open my eyes and my heart and I go, thank you. And I write it down as fast as I can, because if I don't, it'll escape me so fast. And that's my subconscious, brilliant mind working at its best.
I love it.
That's it.
And I love the transformation from the beginning of your speech until the end of it, just by the, it was interesting, Scott, because I'll make some observations, right? And I feel like we know each other pretty fondly and well by now, right? And through these calls. And so you said, wow, you're asking a real personal question. But wouldn't you agree that all of these conversations are pretty personal, and that every share that you've made until now on these calls has always been personal? But interestingly enough, but when I said those words for you, it hit this inner space that, you said, well, I don't reveal all the things and I keep some things for myself. And so for you, this question struck you a little bit deeper. Yeah. And maybe the places that you have been looking at until now. And I think if we're observing and only observing, just, looking to see that, that's an interesting observation, because it shows you the many layers that we can dive even deeper to every time that we ask these questions, every time that we meet up, every time that, you speak up. And I love that you always speak up, and I appreciate it so much. And I love how, we can interchange ideas like that. It's such a blessing. And so, and then kind of when you went a little bit higher on those layers, you became so much more comfortable expressing yourself and sharing. And then it turned into this more positive message. So it's in those deep layers, Scott, that the gold is hidden. And so for you, of course, you don't have to share all the things, but for you, this is an experience that you do with yourself. These are questions that you ask yourself. Not everyone is going to speak up on the call. We have Alex's hand, and Alex is the hand.
Our favorite talking panel,
right? But not everyone that's watching. I mean, we have the people that are watching the recording. They're not all going to speak up. So this is going to be something for you to do internally. And you ask yourself these questions. You can write it down. Just like you said, these ideas escape me so quickly. Write it down. Write down what you're leaving behind for 2021. And Scott, let's celebrate your glory, because you do not, remember yesterday we said, you shining bright doesn't dim anyone else's light. Nobody is going to get offended. If you say you're doing great and you're proud of yourself, we are so proud of you. We are so proud of you, and we want to take joy in your success and in your journey. So I don't know if we lost you there.
It's been a difficult life in a way, because I've had to wear my own badge, my own hat, my own everything for all my life. Relying on anybody sharing some of these things, when a lot of times it was just me alone. This here is a whole new experience, being able to, and it's amazing doing it. It really does help you grow further, I think, in the long run, all the way around. I really just hope that everybody else can, understand what a stage is, and you can get up on it too and be a clown just like everybody else. It isn't hard, so have fun doing it. I think that's what's joyful about it, more than anything, just having fun doing it and being that free spirit doing it at the same time. It's not as easy as 1, 2, 3, but once you do it, I think it's a lot more fun. That's about it.
So you're packing fun in your backpack towards 2022 for sure. Right? Community. If I'm trying to pick at what you're saying and give it labels, right? So community, you're packing, and you're packing
more sunshine, more social stuff, more contact, more. That's what I want, really. And I know it's coming, and I'm preparing for that too, by the way. So.
Oh, this is great. Look, because it's just, you kind of said, you inserted in your speech, you said, I'm a single man and a simple thing. And it's, kind of those words. And now you're saying more community, more connection, more getting out there. So you're really doing this reflection, even if you feel like you're choosing the words a little carefully or differently.
I am.
I know, I hear it. But, for you, after the call, after the fact, when you're in your own home, you can be so open and vulnerable with yourself, because it's only you, and you can write things down, and you can choose what you're packing with you and what you're leaving behind. And, we'll be here in 2023, God willing, everything well, in the universe moving forward. And then we can, you know, look back on 2022 and be like, wow, look at the transformation, you know. And that's what's good about writing it down, because sometimes we don't forget, just like you said, but being able to look back at the year past and then forward, you know, gives us such an awesome reflection. And
I do plan on going back through my notes because everything is laid in the papers. They're not dated, for me, but everything is layered it in a time element. And I do plan on going back through them, because guess what's coming up in a couple of days, and I have to start thinking about it because they're coming, and it's called taxes. And I'm like, well, I got a couple of days here. I might as well start organizing a little bit in this area and get ahead of the game, because I know how dreadful this area is and I hate it. You know?
Well, we can't leave taxes in 2021. So we got to pack that one up, but we can change our attitude towards it, right? We can look at it, you know, thank God that we're making money, that we have money to pay taxes, right? That we're so
that
blessed.
was, you know, and that was the whole thing. Anybody that ever has a thing about money, you know, I've rubbed shoulders with so many millionaires in my days. I've always been able to ask them questions, you know, and I said, you know, one of my questions always, how much money have you ever lost in one day? That's like astounding sometimes, you know, and it was usually personal over family, you know, the reason why the big chunks left. But anyways, I said, do you mind paying all them taxes? He says, are you kidding me? When I pay more taxes, you know what that means? I said, what? He goes, I'm making more money.
Right. Right. That's the attitude. That's it. I love it. Well, thank you, Scott, for bringing the brave first one. Alec, let's hear from you.
How are you doing? Oh, am I unmuted?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to go off of what Scott was saying, because he said he's proud of himself, and you pretty much said the exact words that I was gonna say. Yes, be proud of yourself, but we're proud of you, and I am very proud of you. 2021 has been very, very exciting.
Good.
Very, very exciting, and not something that I'm used to. But still been a journey. So you were talking about, you know, let's leave the past behind us and let's do all of this. And sometimes those memories are what pushes me to move forward.
Fuel.
Because when you think about the past, sometimes you will regret a lot of the stuff of the past. So what do you tell yourself? That's not me. That's me. And, you know, you're going in different directions. And I'm actually very, very excited about 2022. I'm excited. It's going to be a ride. And with that, please do give the other Scott the floor, or give him his chance to speak. Sorry.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right.
No, and I like how you are speaking up more and more and more, and getting, you know, more clear on your message and sharing that forward. And it's always wonderful to hear. And yeah, you're talking about these memories that can also give us this fuel, this rocket booster forward, right? When we know what elates us, what gives us this boost, what really helps us thrive, that can connect to what we were talking about yesterday, you know, that music from within, that burning desire to create, definitely can be a good thing. So we can use that fuel to move forward for sure. Scott Barker.
Hello again. Interesting. You mentioned, I love the analogy with the rocket, the idea of the rocket booster. I think with meditation and so forth, as you mentioned, I think that gives you a choice of standing back from your emotions and deciding which of those will serve your interests and which ones will not. And certainly, you mentioned the idea that you feel you should have done this or you should have done that. That basically switches you into like a parent-child sort of duality, and that's fine when you're growing up. But the question is always, does this mode of thinking or does this activity, does it serve my highest interests? You can't ask that as a child dealing with a parental should. You only ask that as a person who can separate themselves from their emotions. And that's why I think meditation and being calm, being able to separate yourself from those emotions is so significant, because then you can ask the question that needs to be asked: does it serve my interests? Does it serve my highest good? Because that's the only question that really matters. And then I love that you talk about rocket boosters, because all the thinking and the mindset of the past, that basically they were rocket boosters for you in that year. But you know, when a spaceship leaves the Earth, rocket boosters fall away once they're empty. Once they've served their purpose, they fall away. And you can't go into space hanging on to your rocket boosters, otherwise you won't get out of the Earth's atmosphere. So you've got to let the boosters go and fall back to Earth. Otherwise you can't get anywhere. And it's interesting, you mentioned in passing the word apex, and then that set me off on another tangent, because I thought of the ultimate apex predator in terms of goals. I mentioned this before to John, that I think the ultimate apex predator in terms of goals was Gollum from Lord of the Rings, because he was completely obsessed with his goal. And it's interesting because people who are so really obsessed with their goal in the same way that Gollum was, obviously not to that crazy degree, but in that direction, they're often seen as insane by people who don't have as much focus, and people don't connect with them because normal people don't have that much focus. And yet people who have the focus of a Gollum, he's an apex goal predator. He actually did achieve his goal. I mean, it didn't do him much good in the end, but he did actually achieve his goal. And that's what people forget. And and only one other thing too, Scott was talking about the creativity and all the things that happen mentally and emotionally when you're really engaged in the activity of creativity and so forth. And I find that too. So like the other day, I was actually watching a bonus clinic from Adam, and he mentioned something and started the creative juices going, and I didn't want to stop, so I just let that go. And 38 designs later, I was just having a ball of a time, and I just did that, and it just flowed, and I was quite happy with everything. Obviously, I have to translate that into actual cups and whatever, but that's the process that Scott was talking about, and the more you do it, the easier it becomes, because it's just like a muscle. You exercise it, you get stronger at it, you know. So you touched on a lot of things there with your. So I just couldn't help just go off a tangent, but I think it was worth it.
Great. So you're going to tell us what you're putting in your backpack? What are you leaving behind? What are you putting in your backpack for 2022?
It's funny. My mindset is different. My paradigm, I think, is a little bit different. My focus is to increase the actual focus on my goal, and the things that don't serve me, like rocket boosters, just fall away, and I don't even think about them. I forget about them. It's like people that don't serve my highest interests, they fall out of my life like rocket boosters that are spent. They fall away, and it's not good or bad. It's just that they have no purpose in my life anymore, and maybe their destiny is different, and that's fine. I can let them go, because I'm not going to be that attached to relationships that are not serving my highest interests, because I can't help them, they can't help me, and I'll go to the moon and they'll go to the satellite, whatever.
Yeah.
So my paradigm is.
I agree. I've had to go through all this.
Looking forward.
Everything you just said, Scott,
Yes,
I've had to go through in this last week. Unreal. I don't want to talk about it though, but what you're talking about is those people that I finally realized that were holding me here. I love them dearly, man, but they're hurting me so bad. And what do you do? And I had to make a choice. And some of the hardest things I've ever done this year, but
yeah,
it's been just like how you just said. It makes me cry, but hey, I'm over it. I'm good.
Thank you.
Isn't it profound how sometimes our words, or your words in this instance, Scott, can just speak so clearly to someone else's world and evoke those emotions that just, just get you going. And it's like, oh, you're speaking my truth. You're saying, you're talking about my life. And that's why I always encourage everyone here, even if you think it's a small thing to speak up on, you don't know how you can shape someone else's world. And just by sharing your perspective, it totally helps someone else. Scott is saying, yes, I hear you. And that's just like, wow, you're speaking my week. And I hear all that. And we hear you, Scott, you're still processing all of this, that happened to you. And it's totally okay if you don't want to share the details, it's totally fine. But that we can hold this space for you to support you on this journey, just the way you support all of us, teaching us things and helping us along the way. So, we definitely support you on this journey. And we know that you're making the right choices for you, because you're doing all this work and you're showing up and you're here time and time again, and you're moving along. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there. And I like the way that you played on the Apex and the rocket booster, Scott. And it's always fun. It's interesting how like words, we can hear words and like, wow, yes, and it is a great analogy that you leave those boosters behind and you move forward, hopefully creating this whole new zero gravity effect for you to live on, or some kind of new orbit, right, that you're going to find in space, or on the moon, you said you're landing. So that's really, really cool. Thank you always for speaking up. And I love Lord of the Rings, and Gollum is a character. If you look at Gollum, right, and how he completely transformed his outer and inner, he was consumed with this precious, it became all of everything for him. So of course we want to find the balance on that, but it definitely is a good example of dedication. And all of these books that we read, and the other Scott was talking about, millionaires and all that. We read The Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, or Think and Grow Rich, where he looks at all these millionaires, and there's always that burning desire. There is always, it's laser sharp focus, and you know where you're headed. You can feel it. You can sense it. You're already there in your mind's eye. You're already there living that life that you're creating. This is more for our talk tomorrow. So we're still in the farewell mode. So let's not leave that yet behind.
I just want to say thank you, Scott, so much. I mean, what you said gave me confirmation of some of the decisions I made were probably the right ones. They're the hardest ones, but they're the right ones.
Good on you. Good on you.
Yay, we love you, Scott. All right, Maggie, let's hear you. Yes, here we go.
Oh.
We can't hear you yet, but you're unmuted. No, you're not unmuted. Now you're muted. Do you have two Maggie McFarlands? Oh, you have two.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so yeah.
She's got two up.
Yeah. No, we still can't hear you. So I
She's
would
got
say
one on her computer and she's one on her phone.
Okay. Let me ask to unmute you on this one, and maybe it'll work. There we go. Now we can hear you.
I wondered why I saw the picture and then my background. Okay. I just wanted to say that I'm relieved that this year is coming to an end, just because I was still working on so many of my own projects for my other things that I sell, that I didn't have as much time as I would have liked to do this, low hanging. And so I found some people that can do some of those things for me. And, I'm still working on a few jewelry orders that got messed up by my people. So I'm just looking forward to having less to do in the coming, months, so that next Christmas will be better, definitely. So that's about it.
So you're packing in time, right?
Yeah.
So you want to now maybe manage your time a little bit better. So some of the things that you're bringing in are your personal assistants. You've hired some. That's always great. That's an example of expansion. You have now expanded. And the beautiful thing about growth is when you take something that you can multiply, you can copy and repeat, just like Rachel has done for us. She's presented the system. Here's how you do it. And then she made it digestible. So each and every one of us can look at what she's doing and then copy that. So that's what you've done now by hiring people, outsourcing. Maybe you have a personal assistant or just people that work for you. And that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, it's whatever. You can give it whatever name you want. And so as you move into 2022, you say, I would like to manage my time in a more efficient way. And so some of the ways, and you can look into this, I'm just going to list a couple of them, whichever works for you, would be setting, a set calendar where you can, you set aside time for low hanging system, and that's your dedicated time, and nobody can mess with your time.
And that's my hardest thing, just doing that, so that's a challenge as it is. But
that can be one. You can also set like a buddy, if you work in teams, it's always so much harder to, not show up with someone else. So if you have this employee, you can say, okay, on this day at this time, we work on this project, and then that you're there, and then you kind of just track it throughout the week and see how that's working. You can set daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals. Every month, I'm going to upload 50 well, that's not enough. Every month, every day, I upload 50 every month, 500. Sorry.
Yeah. But no, I just need to I need to focus on it more, and I'll be able to do that now that, Christmas is over. So I'm excited about that.
Right. So focus can be one that you're with Scott there on focus. You can bring in focus for the 2022, right? You pack that in. And then how do you get more focused? So the practices of meditation or, journaling, so that you know exactly what the focus is on. Because, you mentioned, okay, so next Christmas season, I want it to be, but what exactly, right? How many sales are coming in this Christmas season, and what are they buying? Because you mentioned that you're selling jewelry, and now you want to sell mugs or shirts or whatever you're selling with the low hanging system. What is selling, and how much? How much money did you make how much money are you making in December 2022? Give that a number, and how much is coming in from each place.
And a lot of things I already have. I mean, Adam says don't use so much artwork, but I do things that are on materials, like screen printed. And so that's what I'm trying to transfer over to other people, other companies, so they can do it for me, so.
Well, there are your ideas. So outsourcing would be something that you want to focus on. Outsourcing, getting more, maybe finding more avenues of how to push your products out there, if it's with personal assistants or, so just kind of, I'm giving you different words, and you can continue on this journey of figuring out, what are you leaving behind? Maybe you're leaving behind the doubt or it sounded almost like you were not pleased with your outcome with low hanging systems. So maybe you can shed that. You can say, okay, I no longer need to carry that in, you were saying I didn't have time.
It was me.
Right.
It was just me,
it's always
having
us, right?
time. Yeah,
exactly. So you shed kind of that kind of thinking, and you bring in this new way of being with the main system, where you get your tasks done. All right.
Definitely.
Thank you, Maggie. Thanks for speaking up. Always great to see you. Deborah, at home today.
Well, I'm at home today. I've been home every day, but just want to say that I opened up my laptop, and I evidently went to some website, and the first thing it came across were 3 words. 3 words were connect, create, and inspire.
Nice.
I don't know where they came from. I don't know if someone invented those words or whatever, but it hit me profoundly. I looked at the words and said, that's where Deborah is right now. I want to reach into my creativity for this last chapter. This chapter of my life. I'm going forward. So in my backpack, I've had to pack away the old Deborah. I had to pack away people that want to occupy my time and the negativity they bring forth, and look at obstacles that may come up. Many of you don't know that even though I joined, I think in the last day of May, it was almost until, I guess, July or August before I could get into the library. I had problems with my email, so I didn't let it deter. I kept coming to the meetings. But I think when you look at how you are here now, this is a great community. When I look at the word connect, and I wish I knew from where countries everybody was from, and then be able to listen to the creativity people are bringing forth. It's fabulous. And also that is inspiring. Those 3 words connected. So those are going to be my main goals going forth in 2022. So because there's no place else to go down. All right. When you're swinging your legs off a dime, there's no place else to go but up. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm happy to see 2022. There are going to be obstacles. Yes. So I always say it's always plan B. You start up the road and you find out there's a tree laying across the road. What is the plan B? So that's just an obstacle that you can overcome. So my backpack is full. I have my pyramid of priorities. On the base, which is the solid part, is this right here, the low-hanging system. And it's going to remain that way. So that's what my backpack is. Don't let people pull you down. I got pulled down almost today. My sister contacted me 2 days ago. I'm moving. Bye-bye. She's looking for people to help her move. Not anymore. Bye-bye. You made that choice. That's your decision for your life. Right now, I have something more important. So that's time taken. It's not to be mean, but I'm no longer, I folded also in my backpack, my doormat and my welcome mat. Not everything is going to be welcome. And you can't just put your feet on my doormat, think you're going to come in and occupy time. So I wish everybody success in 22.
I love it, Deborah. Woo, this is awesome.
Ooh, Deborah!
I'm trying.
To me, it sounds like
The starting
It
starts
sounds like-
good.
I love it.
Alec, just keep charging ahead. It's going to happen.
To me, it sounds like you're packing in this amazing self-worth almost, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
exactly. You're saying, look at me, it's my time. This is my time to shine.
My
I'm
time to create.
choosing me. I'm
Yeah.
choosing me over anyone else. And this ties into what Scott is saying, you know,
That's
with
it.
Scott Kelly. So, you
Yeah.
know, you active choice, you're able to observe these different areas in your life that don't serve you anymore. And you're not willing to get into those emotional turmoils, even if it's someone that you love dearly, that's fine. You know, you make your choices, you do your thing. And here I am, this is what I'm packing in. And I love those words, you know, inspire and connect and create. They're powerful, powerful words that you can use. Those can be your rocket boosters, you know, to be able to inspire others, to create for others, to connect with everyone in this community. It's fantastic. And, those are great things to pack in with you and really lead your way, like be your, you know, you know, the way you plow through your new path that you've created. And I like that you said, okay, this is my journey. This took me some time, but here I am now. And I'm ready. I'm at it. I know what I'm doing. I know what is required of me, and I'm willing to do it. And I'm really excited to move forward. So it was very inspiring to listen to you. You did it, inspire. You're very inspiring. Very creative with the way that you worded things, and I think that you connected to everyone listening to you. So you did it, Deborah.
Good.
You're doing it, and that's awesome. And all the power to you.
Thank
you. Scott, take us home, Scott. We're right at the top of the hour.
I just want to mention one thing. You talked about things that we let go from last year, and that's fine. But sometimes in our travels, we find little golden nuggets on the way. And those things we want to hold on to. And one little golden nugget that I came across, it reminded me of something I learned a long time ago, but I never actually used properly, was a concept that I got from a friend of mine who used to do the setups for bands and things. And they had lots of wiring, electrical connections and so forth. He said, whenever he set up something or packed it up or whatever, he'd always do what's called an idiot check. And I think the idiot check is wonderful. You think everything's perfect, and then you go back and check it one more time, just in case, because sure enough, something will be loose, something will be not perfect. And because of the idiot check, you check it. And now what I've done now, when I make designs, for example, I make the design and I just let the creative process go, and I make as much as I can. And then I leave it and come back next day.
Yeah.
And that's my idiot check. And I find my perspective is different. And if something's genuinely worthwhile, I can sense it more. And if it's not, then I have a better perception of that, because I'm not involved in that creative process. Then I can sort of stand back and dissect it more. That's idiot check. And I find that's really good. I find it's very useful.
Scott, that's a cup. That is on. You can put on a
That's,
cup.
no, that's
If you
a
are
process.
Yeah, if you're standing, if you can read this on the cup, I do idiot checks. so, so make sure you can put that on a cup today. If you
Well,
can
I mean,
read
if you're an airline pilot,
Yeah.
that is, it's not an idiot check though. They don't call it that, but boy, you got a checklist and it better
Like a
ever have
checklist?
every box checked and it better be approved and signed off on and ready to go because we have people's lives involved here.
Yeah.
Serious.
We can call it,
So, but
we can call it double checking,
But I
the
like what
smartness.
you said as far as giving your chance on that next perspective, because the next day it is amazing. You could find something hilarious today, and next day you go look at it and go, you know, if I spelt that right, it might be better. You know, just saying.
Yes, yes. No, but it's a great idea. And I definitely am a person that double checks myself. You know, we're going to mind our words. So it is a fun little, you know, connection there, idiot check, but we can call it smart check, right? Because we are, you know, subconscious listening all the time. So we definitely want to push forward the words that will empower us. And definitely, you know, we were talking about putting things in our backpacks, not just leaving behind, but definitely what are you packing in? And so if through this 2021, you found that this, you know, heightened sense of observation, that's another way we could look at it, right? Being able to observe, which ties us right back around to everything that we've done on this call, is being able to observe ourselves. And then we give ourselves these tools, tools is the best word for it, to be able to move forward and to be able to do these checks and these balances and give us the support that we need along the way, because these double checks, these you know, observations or you know, mindful looking at our work really just helps us progress forward in a more efficient way. So we don't have to come back and do it again and delete and then upload and whatever. So I'm a huge backer of double checking. This was fun. You know, you can continue with this exercise of really with no judgment, just looking back and observing this 2021. You know, it was an amazing year as far as community and coming together and just learning this new skill, which is the low-hanging system, creating a new business for ourselves, you know, a new stream of income, doing something that's out of the box, really going for it, getting at your dreams. These are amazing things to do and to be at it. You know, you're working with life, with life's energy, and that's something to celebrate. And moving into 2022, what empowers you? Tomorrow we'll have, you know, more of a celebration towards this new year. It will be our final call. We can mingle it with Fun Friday kind of idea of just, you know, celebrating this new year coming upon us. So thank you all for being here. Oh, let's say if any of you need some help, then what will happen now after this, Scott is giving me a thumbs up, thank you. I will end this call. So I'm going to click end, it'll end, your screen is going to go blank. If you would like some help, you come back to the link, just like you got on here the first time. You come back into the link and you will find the amazing community supporting you on your journey and offering you assistance with your business. So this will be the how-tos, the actual tools to create your designs and your business. So if you'd like that help, join back in. Thank you, everyone.